You want to start a new business. You've got an idea and you want to go forward with it. But here's the challenge. You need some cash. You need to pay the bills in the meantime. Maybe your savings isn't really huge. Maybe you've got a bunch of credit card debts that have got to be paid or whatever for all the different things you've tried in the past. So the key question is what's the fastest path to cash? How can I most quickly get there? I've actually had a number of conversations on this subject lately where people have said, so should I start a course? Should I do this? Should I do that? What tools should I purchase? I've got to get to cash quickly. And when you need cash now, it's actually a very different structure of how you structure your business and what you're actually going to sell people and how you're going to go about selling it to people than when you've got a long lead time. You've got enough cash to pay for your living and your business for a while. Because usually it's not the time to start something new when you need cash immediately. What you should be doing, and the reason why is because it takes time to do things like build a list, to build a following on social media, to brand yourself, figure out all the things you got to do to brand yourself, to most importantly, build trust inside an audience, to, hey, build a product offering. What in the world am I going to sell? And then actually create that thing that you're going to sell, to build your marketing assets. What are you going to use to sell them? You got to put together a sales page, a landing page, a thank you page, a shopping cart, all those different pieces. What about, besides all that stuff you got to do, you also have to figure out how you're going to do all that. So you may not yet know how to do it. You may not even know how to use those tools. And so when you're starting up something new, you got to figure all that stuff out. And very frankly, that just takes time. Now, I'm not saying give up. By far, I'm not saying give up. Because there are things that you can and should be doing when you're in that situation to build cash, to build enough cash, to bring in enough cash each month to pay for what you've got to pay for, to pay your mortgage, to pay for food, to, keep the family clothed, all those kinds of things. So you've got the cash coming in so that you've got the luxury of spending a little bit of time working on your longer term thing, which is oftentimes going to be bigger. It's going to be scalable. It's going to be, it's the reason why you got into this business. So here's the thing. What you really need to do when you are needing cash quickly is to look at what assets do you currently have. And so I invite you to be open-minded here for just a moment. I know that you're trying to get into a new business because you don't want to do your old one. You don't feel like that was successful. You don't feel like it was scalable. Maybe you got some bad feelings about it, whatever that is. But right now, you need cash. And the fastest way to cash is to cash in on the assets that you already have in place. Things like your reputation. So you probably have a reputation in a market. And by the way, if you don't, that's fine. I'm talking to those people who've got some kind of reputation in a market, some kind of contacts in a market. So maybe here's my old job. I used to do this. And so I've got this group of people, and yes, I'm trying to do that other thing now, but I've still got this group of people that still exist that are connected to me that I've got positive reputation with. What about your past clients? What about friends in the industry? All of which are assets that you can use to build a cash base right now. Do you happen to have a list from the past? Yes, you may not want to market to that list, but do you have a list? What do you have a history of serving people in? Past job, past company, something you did in the past. Where do you have a social media following? Well, I really love trains, so I got this whole social media following around trains. Well, perhaps let's look at that as an asset and ask, what can we do to supply that group of people who already know and love you and have some trust with you about trains? So what has to happen here is that you have to make a mental jump from, hey, I'm starting something new, I'm abandoning the old, to, hey, I'm going to use my existing and my past to get cash so that I can afford the time frame necessary to do something new. Now, oftentimes what that involves is maybe sending a few emails to a few people you've worked with in the past, maybe some old clients, maybe some people in the industry that you worked with in the past, things like that. Maybe you need to pick up the phone and actually call some people. I know this is hard for a lot of people, but this is what it takes to get in that cash quickly. And then you just have a conversation with them, see what their needs are right now, and then custom create an offer for them. Something that, again, it may not be scalable, it may not be where you want to go, but it's an offer that brings in cash that fulfills both of your needs. And you say, but Don, I'm going to need time to do this stuff. Well, if you do something in the coaching or consulting realm, you can oftentimes get a pretty good return on your time. And don't underprice yourself here. Price yourself expensively. Ideally, so you can maybe work 3 days a week doing the old stuff, the stuff to bring in cash, which leaves you 3 to 5 days a week to work on the new. So if you can work for 2 or 3 days a week and bring in enough cash to pay your bills, and I'm not saying you're probably going to have to cut back. You may have to have ramen a couple of nights a week, and you may not be able to go out to eat, and you may not be able to go on that vacation that you wanted to do, but just to pay the bills, how many days a week do you have to work just to pay the bills? Now, let's go find some work that'll pay that so that I can then spend the rest of my week working on the stuff I've got to do to create my future. So my strong suggestion is don't abandon your past. Instead, use it to fund your future, giving you the freedom to create the future that you want. What's your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. May I suggest you actually do this? This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.